So my freshman year of high school was real fun and interesting. I had to do online school for like the first 6 months because it was 2020 and we were deep in a pandemic. So I ended up going back in person in January, which I'm not gonna hold you, sucked. Like definitely was one of the lamest things that happened, you feel me? Like not going to school for 6 months, doing it online, not making new friends, you feel me I'm saying? But once I returned to like in-person school, 2 of my classes were still online, and one of them was my biology class, which was on a Zoom meeting with 30 other kids who were still doing online school at home. So I was in a random room full of kids who were also doing online classes in school. But while getting used to going back to school, I found out where my classes were about after 3 weeks because this is my first time being in the building ever. So me and the wave of like all the kids that were doing online school came to in-person school, we were all looking mad lost, like not knowing where our classes were, just confused compared to everyone else. And basically after my Algebra 1 class, I had PE, which was my 5th period, and I had D lunch, which was the last lunch of the day, and I quickly found out that all my friends and everyone in my grade had B lunch, which is 45 minutes before mine. So one day after leaving Algebra, I walked up to one of the APs and asked him what lunch I had, and I didn't really fully know what lunch I had because for some reason my school system, like in middle school and high school so far, like on your schedule, when you get a new schedule every year, it doesn't tell you what lunch you have. You just gotta figure it out like during 5th period. It's so weird. Anyway, so after asking him what lunch I had, he asked me what my 5th period was, and I told him I had PE. Then he told me I had D lunch. And I had texted one of my friends earlier asking what lunch he had, and he said he had B lunch. And the second I heard that he had B lunch, I knew I needed to make a plan to go to that lunch, you feel me? Because I already didn't have any classes with any of my friends. So like for most of the day, I'm not even talking to no one. And I wanted to like get my social interactions up since I just got out of quarantine, you know what I'm saying? I was like kind of a little lazy to make new friends my freshman year. Like it generally felt like an inconvenience to me. Plus like everyone kind of already established a little like friend groups because it's been 6 months into the school year. So I kind of just kept to myself and chilled. So I walked into PE class, and in this class there was no physical education or activity done whatsoever. Like I'm not gonna hold you, most of the kids in there just sat in the bleachers in the gym, were either on their phones, sleeping, watching Netflix, pretty much anything and everything besides what you think you would do in a PE class, which I soon found out after going to that class for a few freaking weeks. But I walked in, told the coach I was new coming from online school. He took my attendance down. I remember this part, it's very important. And then I walked over to these kids I sort of knew and then talked to them for a little bit. Then I got up on the bleachers and started watching YouTube. Then like when the bell for B lunch rang, I had a plan to skip a small portion of gym class to go to B lunch. Nah, I know what you're thinking, like, Jace, what? You skipped class in freshman year? You skipped class 3 years ago? How could you? Like, I know most of you probably see me as like this beautiful, like great, straight A, no attendance missed, perfect, no tardies, never skipped class before student. But I was a little rebel back in the day, you feel me? Back when I was 15. But at the same time, this was like the first time I ever planned to skip class on purpose. And I was 15, like I said, and nervous. So I'm sitting there sweating my cheeks off, just stalling because I was imagining the worst possible scenario, you feel me? Like I would leave the gym to go into the hallway and then like go out the door that leads into the parking lot to the outside area where my friends were eating lunch, and before I even got to that door, I would hear a loud "Hey!" and turn around and see some 350-pound big body built coach would be angrily speed walking towards me, and that would be game over. So after about 5 minutes of contemplation, I hyped myself up like, come on Jace, come on, it's real simple. All you gotta do is walk over to the coach, ask him to use the bathroom, and then just go to B lunch. It's that simple. So I got up very slowly and sweatily over to the coach and asked him to use the bathroom, and he said yes. So I quickly turned around and walking out the doors of the gym into the hallway, and I did it. Phase 1 was completed. So I quickly looked down the hallway, saw not a soul, you feel what I'm saying? Literal ghost town. So I walked into the hallway leading to the door to freedom, and while I was walking, I just did what you always gotta do. Like if a teacher asked me where I was supposed to be or something, I just tried to look like I know where I was going, like I was going somewhere I was supposed to be, you feel me? So I got to the door, opened it, and walked out the building. Now I just had to walk over to where my friends were, and I was chilling. So I started walking, I saw some old looking teacher dude just standing there like an NPC. Like I think he was a lunch monitor or something, just watching the kids who eat lunch outside. And I was scared if I got too close, he would try to give me a quest or something. But I walked right past him over to my friends and explained to them how I just dipped out of PE. And from then on, every day, bro, and when I say every day, I mean literally every day. Like I just walked out of PE and then go to their lunch. And like after a week of doing this, I just stopped asking to use the restroom. I would just wait for the B lunch bell to ring. I would just stand up and walk out like it was nothing. Like no questions asked. And like there's other people in my PE class who did the exact same thing I did. And I just think our coach didn't get paid enough to care when we leave for 30 minutes and then come back to the gym after B lunch. Then usually when it was time for my lunch, I had no friends in that lunch, so I'd usually be sitting alone outside, which is mad lame, you know, sitting alone at lunch, you feel me? And then if I wasn't sitting alone inside, I was sitting alone inside by a staircase or just wandering around. I don't know, bro. Freshman year, I was a traveler, that's for sure. I was be wandering. So getting sick definitely sucks. Your nose is running, you can't stop coughing, you feel like you're constantly on fire, burning alive, while your body fights off whatever is happening to you. And I don't get sick a lot, but when I do, it sucks for a number of reasons, like missing school. Now, I didn't say that because I actually want to go to school. It just sucks to miss it, you feel me? Because like missing school, even for a couple of days, ruins everything for me. I'll be behind for like 3 weeks after only missing 3 days. Now, I remember this one time in 7th grade, I had pink eye and I was sick. Not even gonna explain how I got this combo, but I still ended up going to school. And if you don't know, pink eye is when it makes your eyes look mad red. So I ended up wearing shades to school that day. So everyone would like look at me and be like, guys, Jace is on drugs. was. And like the whole class like whips their head back at me and just started laughing like a Disney Channel movie. And like that would have been reasonable because my eyes are halfway closed and red, you feel me? So I'll pull up the first period, which is my math class, and before class even started, I talked to my teacher about the sunglasses I was wearing, so I wouldn't get pressed over them, because you know how teachers were. If you got a hat on, your hoodie on, or something, you're getting pressed. And especially if you're wearing shades. So I explained the situation to her, and she didn't even ask to see my eyes for some reason, but I don't know why I would make all that up just to wear sunglasses. So I guess her not asking makes a lot of sense, but I go through class normally, coughing every now and then. But I'd have mad people eyeballing me, you feel what I'm saying? But they're probably like confused on why I was sitting here with sunglasses inside and at school. So after the bell rang, one of my classmates actually walked up to me and was like, "Bro, why are you wearing sunglasses?" And I didn't really feel like explaining everything to him, the whole situation with me having pink eye, being sick, yada yada, woo whoop. So I just dropped the shades just enough so he can see my eyes. And my eyes must have been glowing red as well, because when bro saw me, he expressed some of the craziest shock I've seen on a 13-year-old's face. Like, he was astonished. I'm guessing he thought before class I was in the bathroom off the Benjamin or something. Cause bro was just looking at me, like, mouth halfway open. And like, I don't even remember it being that bad, you feel me? Like, it was a slight redness around both my eyes, but I guess he saw a literal demon. But another time when I went to school on sick the year before, when I was in 6th grade, I was chilling in art class, and I was kind of feeling sick, but not enough not to go to school. So I went, and I remember I was just chilling there, doing whatever assignment we were doing. I had this feeling in my stomach, the feeling you get before you throw up. And I hate that feeling. It's probably one of the most yucky feelings. Like, you just feel it in your stomach, like, whatever you ate's about to come back up, you feel me? And I was not liking it, so I ended up taking off my hoodie, putting it down in front of me, and like laying my face into it, trying to feel better. And I was just laying there for a little while, just like as the feeling in my stomach got worse and worse, and it was just like, I knew what was about to happen, you feel me? Like, I just had a feeling at any given second I was gonna start projectile vomiting all over the place, on people next to me, on the teacher, on the tables, on the walls. And everyone in the class just watched me just going back and forth as I throw up into my hoodie. And like, all my throw up noises are muted, so all you can hear is and then like, I don't even know what happened. Like, there's a grace period or something, because all of a sudden I stopped throwing up. I still had the feeling of throwing up, and then for some reason while I was throwing up to my hoodie, my art teacher got the other art teacher for the older kids to come into the room and take me into her room, which was empty, thank God, because that would have been a whole different level of awkward, you feel what I'm saying? So then she took me into her room and pulled out this huge trash can. Thing was like the same size as me in width, so I just leaned my head into it, and the trash was full of like all this art stuff, like paper, pencils, dried paint, and just all that kind of mixed together to make this horrific smell. Like, it smelled so bad, which ended up helping me throw up more. So after puking in 2 different art classrooms, I went back to my old art class, got my puke covered hoodie, got a bag to put it in, got my backpack, and then I went to the nurse's office, and then I went home. And then there was much more throwing up happening at home. So I know we've all seen or been in a fight before. Now, in some goofy certain situations, fights can happen at school, from slapboxing in the bathroom during passing period gone wrong, straight up fist fights during lunch. Now, most school fights, especially in high school, be mad funny. Like, some of the goofiest punches are thrown, and it just goes to show how none of us know how to fight, and it's just blind swinging, hoping to land a punch on someone. Now, I don't know how fights be in elementary school. I hope no children are boxing in elementary school, because that would be crazy, bro. But I doubt kids are like fist fighting in elementary school, you feel me? Because like, I don't remember any crazy fights happening at my elementary school, or even if there was fights in the first place. How are you gonna expect 2 third graders to try to fight each other? Like, I doubt there'd even be a punch thrown, maybe a push or two, I doubt it. But now in middle school, it's a little different, you know. You get a little bit older, more prone to get mad at lunch after you get hit in the back of a half-eaten donut. Now, mad fights happen in my middle school, just goofy stuff, and I fought some dude in 7th grade, as you guys know. Now in high school is where the fun happens, for real. Fights could happen over anything and everything, because some people just be a little too angry, and fights could range from like, I saw this one video one time of these 2 kids fighting in the bathroom, and this one bro like dead dropped the other kid to the ground mid-fight. You would think that's where the fight ends. Like, me personally, if I get dropped like that during a fight, especially dropped to the ground of a goddamn bathroom, it's a wrap. I'm giving up. That's embarrassing. Like, you would think after that happened, you would just get up and walk away knowing the fight's over. You just got body slammed, gang. But no, this kid got back up, and as the other kid was walking away knowing he damn well won the fight, he got sucker punched right in the face. Like, socked him enough to give him a black eye and shoot. Because 2 of my homeboys walked into the bathroom a little after the fight happened. And it's like the day after I saw that vid, I saw the kid who got sucker punched, and bro's whole eye purple and blue and looked just busted and nasty. Now, this type of fighting, I'm pretty sure it was like planned and like scheduled. Like, they had to set up meet time and location for real to be like, yeah, we're gonna meet here in this bathroom, we're gonna box, and then we done, or whatever. But I remember last year, this girl who rode my bus was involved in a bunch of drama between like her and a bunch of other girls. I don't remember all of it, but I remember hearing about it, and there's like some pregnant girl and like drugs or something, and then she like snitched on somebody to their parents, which is crazy. But there was a video where you see this group of girls come into the bathroom. 2 of them were dragging the girl, and they dragged her to the ground, and in the front stall, like right into you walk into the restroom, another girl came out of that stall and just started punching her, and then the other 2 girls started punching her, and then like all in unison, they were just clocking her, and then they all like back up and stop, and the main girl who came out of the stall was like, "What's wrong with you, huh? You snitched on me, bro." Like, yelling and all this, but a little less rated E from everybody, you feel what I'm saying? And then after all that, you just hear, Hey, there's an adult in here, and I don't know who's fighting." So there was a teacher using the restroom in the stall, but outside a girl got jumped, and I just find the fact that the teacher waited until after the girl got whirled killed in a 1v3 to say something. That's just crazy. Like, she dead was in the stall listening to the blows land on this poor girl while she was crying there getting beat up, and the teacher was just like, I'ma just have to wait for real until the fighting's over. In this type of fighting, like the people who got beef, that's just how it goes. Usually gets down like that. You get dragged into a bathroom, you get jumped, you know. But another time last year on Valentine's Day, one of my friends who I'd usually be walking around with at lunch every day, this one day I didn't walk with him because it was Valentine's Day and your boy at the time wasn't single, you feel what I'm saying? But while I was gone, bro fought this kid, and after lunch I went back to my 5th period class and everyone was just like telling me he was in a fight, and I was like, let me see the vid, because you already know there were 6 different videos of the fight from multiple different angles, like a reality TV show. So they first boxed like right in front of our cafeteria, and it was like 15 seconds long. A few punches were thrown from both of them, but they ended up stopping because one of the dude's friends said the teachers were coming, so they stopped so they wouldn't get in trouble, and then like everybody walked away. And a little further down the hallway, like the grace period of their fight from 36 seconds ago ended, I guess, and they started up again. And during the fight, my friend got up into the air and like body slammed into this bench that was in the hallway where people usually eat lunch. And the funny part was, there was this girl sitting on the bench as they got body slammed into it, is flying on top of it, and she was just sitting there staring at them like an NPC as they roll into the floor. And then I think a teacher broke up the fight a little later, and there's a lot more drama to why this fight started, but it's too much to talk about and probably wouldn't be allowed on YouTube anyway. Make sure to stay safe out there, guys. Train for your future battles, because you never know when the ops might decide to drag you into a bathroom and beat you up. So the other week I was scrolling through YouTube and I saw this video. It was like a tutorial on how to sell snacks at school. The second I saw it, I had like flashbacks to last year, and I remembered some. So last year I was chilling in my geometry class doing none. My friend showed me this dude's Snapchat story where he was like promoting his business, I guess, because there's a picture of him in his room next to like these big old boxes of snacks, like giant jumbo chips and like 32 packs and like candy and all these snacks, like the type of snacks you get from like Sam's or Costco or something, you feel me? And from the picture that I saw, he had like quite the selection, you feel? Like he had the chips, the candy, the crackers, suspicious pill bottles, and weird purple juice, you know, the usual snacks he would sell at school. And he was selling all this like out of his backpack at school. And bro, I just thought that was the craziest thing. Like basically bro would go sell these snacks for whatever price, and then with the money he would get from his sales, he would go to these stores, right, and buy this stuff in bulk to sell back to his customers or whatever. Now one thing I thought was pretty interesting was the fact that this guy was even getting sales in the first place. Like we had a whole school store, vending machines, a cafeteria with all these exact snacks that you could buy. I was thinking like, what's so special about this kid's backpack snacks? Like maybe his prices were mad low or some, or like full of crack, so like he was purposely drugging the candy and snacks so that people would come back and buy them more. I don't know, but whatever he was doing was working because he had enough business to like post on Snapchat and promote more. But now this dude was taking small businesses to like the next level on, bro. And like apparently what would happen was, and this is coming from my friend, I don't know if it's all true or not, but he was doing this to help his mom pay with bills or something, like hustling candy at school to like help out his mom, like on some main character stuff from Netflix. Like his mom owes his gang member father $10 million in debt, and the only way he can pay it off is he sells candy and snacks at school. So if he doesn't do this, his mom's gonna get murdered and then his dog's gonna get stolen. You feel what I'm saying? But no, I just found that so interesting that this dude would go out of his way to sell snacks out of his backpack at school. Like people were out here having these tiny little side hustles and side businesses. You know, he was probably posting his story too, like I got motion, I get money, doing little money spreads and stuff. But like on the low, he dead be selling candy and snacks out of his backpack, which is nothing wrong with that, you know, get your bread, get your money up. But like I just thought it was kind of funny. Now me personally, this whole little small business idea this dude had, I would have taken it to a whole different level. You don't even know. First of all, I would have taken out the competition, which would have been the school store, the cafeteria, and this little area with vending machines in it. I would have conveniently showed up to the school store just as it burned down, and also conveniently left the school store as it was burning down, you feel me? I would have first put out of order signs on all the vending machines, then broken into them, each and every single one of them individually, took all the snacks and drinks and candy out of them, and then sold them back to people. And then I would break into my school at night, go into the cafeteria, steal all the snacks that I would want to sell, and then basically I would be the only one there. I would have a monopoly over certain snacks, you feel me? Then I would sell all the snacks I've collected after taking all my competition for a higher price. My whole little setup would be like in like a bathroom stall or something, and they'll call it like Jace's Marketplace, and people would just come in and out buying snacks off me. Now that's how my small business would have been a big business in school. Like on the bros, I would have done all of that. Now like the whole idea like selling like candy and snacks at school, I thought this was something that was rare and like unique and like only certain schools and certain people at these schools be doing it. But it's not at all. Like kids low-key, high-key be doing this. Like on the bros, people be dead buying all this candy and snacks, heading off to school with a duffel bag or a backpack or whatever they're using, and they be selling it to people and it be working. And it's, I think it all comes down to the prices, especially because like say you got like a bag of Doritos or something that you bought for like, I don't know, $2, and then you go to school and sell that for like $5. That's kind of suspicious, right? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm pretty sure all these kids that be doing it, they be selling it super low, like $1, $2, $3 for something they bought for more than that, because if you have it lower prices, more people gonna buy it, so you'll make your profit back faster probably. But I don't know, man. I don't be selling candy and snacks. I don't know, I might have to start. And I hope everyone here has had the chance to experience recess, like the pure feeling of freedom when your teacher announces that it's recess time. That was a feeling like no other, you feel me? And then you get to go run around outside and have fun. Now I haven't had recess since I was like 5th grade, because where I'm located, recess ends in elementary school, and apparently in some places people had recess through middle school too, which is like mad lucky. That would have been amazing to have on, bro. But I made up for it because me and my friends used to hang out at this park after school every day in middle school and pretty much do everything we would do at recess, but like at the park and stuff. I remember playing all sorts of games in recess, like tag, which I would like to say I'm pretty fast, you feel what I'm saying? And I've been for a while, so tag for me was pretty easy. Like my friends would hesitate to tag me because they knew I was just so much faster than them. So like if they tagged me, it would end up with them being it again. And sometimes we would play Infection, which was really fun because it would give a challenge to tag. Like I said, I was just better. But in Infection, every person the tagger tags would also become a tagger. So instead of just me running away from one person, it could be 10 people, which made my higher speed stat not matter as much. Especially when they had the number advantage, you see what I'm saying? But the game was mad fun. There was freeze tag too, but we really played that game at recess. Because in freeze tag, if you get tagged, you're frozen and the goal is to freeze everybody. But you can get unfrozen and someone who isn't frozen freeze you. And in some instances, people would just up and forget about you like mid-game. And then you just be chilling there frozen for half the game. Now, I don't remember playing hide and seek that much because of how open our playground area behind my elementary school was. There wasn't much hiding to be done or could be done. So most of the time we played hide and seek tag or like hide and seek Infection and other combinations of games. And I also remember playing this game called wall ball. Now hence the game, you throw a ball at the wall and other people would try to catch it, and if you didn't catch it and like it hit your arm or something, you have to run and touch the wall, and if someone happened to throw the ball back at the wall before you touched the wall, you were out. So one time I was at recess and there's a big group of kids playing wall ball, and we would rarely play wall ball at recess most of the time because most kids didn't bring balls to play with at school. Pause. So this one certain time, there's probably like 15 kids already playing the game, and I was like, yo, bet I'm gonna join. And like joining any game at recess is pretty easy. You just kind of show up like an NPC and pretend you were there the whole time. So after joining the game, I soon found out these kids were taking the game mad seriously, like throwing the ball at the wall like Mach 30, just sending it. And we're throwing it especially hard when they're trying to get somebody out. So some random kid ended up launching it at the wall and it bounced off mad hard. For some reason, some other kid tried to catch the ball, which I know is a part of the game, but it was going like Mach 45. It was flying, it ricocheted. So instead of letting this 95-mile-per-hour tennis ball fly past everybody, this kid had to catch it, and he didn't. It bounced straight out of his hand. And the second it did, bro like looked around real quick, understood that gang didn't sprint to that wall, he was out. And this game was mad competitive, so bro took off, and while running at this wall full speed, some other kid grabbed the ball and turned around, and with like the force of 1,000 suns and like in Kaioken or something, sent the ball, and I see a green blur go by, and I was looking like it was not gonna hit the wall, and it didn't. Because then all of us watched as this beamer of a throw sniped little bro in the back of the head seconds before he got to the wall. And the throw was like so powerful that when he got sniped, he fell straight onto his face, and then like everyone ran up to him, and yeah, I know we all didn't start laughing at him like a Disney Channel movie, but it wasn't even funny. It was low-key sad. Like watching little bro get sniped by a 95-power tennis ball in the back of the head and then faceplant wasn't even funny. It was just like, dang. But then we all like circled him, and he got back up smiling right as a teacher spawned in to check on him, and bro just said he was fine and sprinted off to play somewhere else at recess. Because out here in these games, the wait time between these games was most of our recess time, so bro ran off to go do something else with a little brain damage, you know, but it was all fun and games. Now yearbook photos are great because this could be the best picture you ever seen, you feel what I'm saying? Like you could be looking max prestige and everything, hair all nice with the pearly white smile and everything, and then this could be the worst picture of yourself known to man. I'm talking you look all homeless and dirty and disheveled and look like you work 3 jobs just to make end meets or something. Now me personally, most of my yearbook photos have been pretty normal. I didn't like look dead inside in the picture unlike some people. Like this year, my picture did look like this. But you know, there can be all types of people in the yearbook photos. Like the people who don't be smiling. Like straight face people who just be sometimes looking straight out of a horror movie and everything. Just staring into your soul through a piece of yearbook paper. Not an ounce of emotion on their face. And I always find these type of people's pictures so funny because it just has like the most blank expression on this person's face compared to everyone else's who's maybe smiling or slightly grinning. Then you have this person looking like this. And like bro has not had one happy memory in his entire life. And then we have the complete opposite of these people. The people who be smiling their face off, just grinning ear to ear, looking like they just won the lottery, a brand new car, and they just got married all in the same day. And I'm not saying this is everybody who be smiling, just the people who are trying too hard to smile, you know? Like you could smile like normal, you could smile with teeth, you could grin a little bit, or you could smile like a murderer. And then we got like the bad hair day people, which I genuinely just kind of feel bad for. You know, they woke up, the hair just wasn't working out, and they didn't have time to fix it up or whatever in the morning, went to school, had to take pictures, and next thing you know, they're looking like this. But I feel like it was like worse back in the day day when it had all these crazy wacky hairstyles, which had people dead looking like video game characters in a yearbook. Now I always love to go through the yearbook because it's like looking at the yearbook pictures was like a character selection screen, because you could dead see anybody and everybody, like some actual characters too. Like I remember like a month ago looking through a yearbook with a bunch of other people, and we flipped to this one page and there's this girl grinning, face covered in clown makeup and everything, looking straight out of 2016 and all that. And it was just like the goofiest thing I've ever seen. Like I guess you do you, you know what I'm saying, live your life, but that must have been crazy for the photographer. Alright, next up. Alright, you ready to take your picture? But now, yearbook pictures for me at least didn't get like interesting to look at until like high school. Like I don't even remember getting yearbook in middle school in the first place. But my elementary school pictures looked all the same, and everyone just looked like little small children because we were. But I do remember in 5th grade, there were like the teachers would go around and ask everyone in my 5th grade what they wanted to be when they grow up, and like whatever you said we put under your picture in the yearbook. And mine said artist, of course, but I did just went back through my 5th grade yearbook and I saw someone in my grade put brain surgeon. I'm really trying to connect the dots how the age of 11 or 12 they're dead like, you know what? I want to be a brain surgeon when I grow up. Now this is just wild. Now most of them are kind of normal-ish. People wanted to be NFL players, NBA players, pro soccer players, or singers. Saw a lot of YouTubers, a zoologist, which is very interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. There was a biochemist, a pitch chart photographer. I don't even really know what that is or how to say it. These 5th graders dead took their hopes and dreams to the next level, that's for sure. But anyway, you get the point. But I do always remember, no matter what grade I was in, when I would be taking my picture, and whoever was taking my picture would always be like, alright, can you put your feet on the tape, please? Okay, now look at the camera and slightly lower your chin. Okay, good. Now I'm gonna need you to rotate the left side of your nose like 2.5 inches to the northwest for me. What? Bro, what is she talking about? North what? Huh? Alright, good. Now left foot yellow. Bro, what? And I like dead just remember no matter what, I would always get these random instructions to do all these slight movements that I thought to myself, oh, doing all these things would make my picture come out better, I look cooler. No, that's not at all what would happen. I would follow all these instructions, look at my picture, and I'm looking like this. Now this is probably because I did everything they said wrong, but you can't blame me. My 2 brain cells just wanted to take a picture and leave. Like I said before, looking into yearbooks can be mad funny because you just find an array of goofy characters in any yearbook. Or at least for me at my big eye high school, looking through a yearbook showed me a whole collection of people I ain't ever seen before. Especially when you're looking through it and you see the occasional goofball like the clown makeup face girl I mentioned earlier. I remember I saw this one kid, his head was down, eyes were up, no smile. Bro looked like a straight menace. Bro looked like he was about to slide on somebody, and that somebody was a person taking his picture on, bro. And one of my homeboys actually wore a shiesty on picture day and was looking like this in the yearbook. I also found out something interesting that seems like most of my schools have done, like in other sections of the yearbook where it's like random stuff. Like for example, at my elementary school we had carnivals, right? And in 5th grade I went to a carnival. In the little section of the yearbook for the carnival, they took a picture of me. I was there. Under it they quoted me saying, I love the carnival and all the things to do there. I did not say none of that NPC ad dialogue, bro. Like I know I was like 11 or 12, but I was not saying the most generic basic stuff. Like basically they just make up stuff and put it down there. Like in my yearbook from this year, one of my friends got like a whole section kinda to himself. Not really, but basically a section was about cool cars at my school, and he has a cool car, basically a GTA Deluxe though, and it had him like quoted saying something that he never said. I just thought it was funny that like the yearbook people be doing this. So most people have been through a school drill before, and depending on where you live, they can be different. Like, you know, some people got tornado drills, which to me personally gotta be one of the stupidest school drills. Teachers are supposed to lead everyone out in a calm and orderly line, acting like a tornado ain't about to uproot the whole building itself and take you to a safe area, where that's supposed to mean. And then you're supposed to get on the ground with your head down, protecting the back of your head with your arms. Like that's gonna do something to save you from a tornado and all that. Like no, the tornado is going to tear into the building and take everyone inside with it straight into the sky. Like you huddling up in the fetal position holding your head is not going to save you. It just won't. No, where I live I don't usually get tornadoes. When I say usually I mean never, but this year actually there was a tornado a couple miles away from my school, and it brought like a massive rainstorm, and school got out early for the kids with cars, but for all the bus riders they had to stay in school in like a hold just waiting the storm out. But what most of the time happens where I live are hurricanes. Like just every year, most of the time around August through like October, which is hurricane season, small little baby tropical storm will cook itself up somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, swoop through the Gulf of Mexico, and then come turn into a category whatever hurricane and do how much damage it would do for that category. Now like no school where I live has like a hurricane drill, because that would just be stupid ass. Like hurricanes bring floods and heavy rains for hella long periods, so when there's a chance of a hurricane coming through, school gets canceled in advance, so we're not going to school in a superstorm, you feel me? Alright class, the next thing happened in World War II was
Now, earthquake drills, like the whole idea is actually wild. Like, gotta be one of the sorriest school drills. Like the whole drop, cover, and holding, and like getting under your desk and like covering your head with objects. What is that really gonna do if like an 8.5 magnitude earthquake hits? And then like the whole school just folds into itself, turning into a pile of items. Like you're dead, and covering your head ain't gonna help you. Like I know earthquakes that strong are rare, but with weaker earthquakes that might hit, getting under your desk is a little more helpful. And where I live, earthquakes are literally impossible because I'm nowhere near a fault line. So unless I move somewhere where that could happen, or the geological arrangement of the earth changes, I won't have to deal with the stupid earthquake drills. Now we got the fire drill, which everyone has because, you know, fires could happen anywhere at any time. And fire drills are pretty simple and make sense, you know. You just exit the building and stand outside the building to check if it's on fire or not. And bro, this year at my school, I had like 3 fire drills every other month. And most of them weren't even drills, like random things were triggering the alarms. Like one time, apparently in one of the science rooms, something literally blew up and was smoking and triggered the fire alarm. And then we all stood in the parking lot for like 30 minutes. And there was other times and like random stuff happening, like this pool area in my school, something went on there that triggered the fire alarm over there. And then like we had to stand in the parking lot. Fire department came, fire trucks and all these cars. It was crazy. And now lockdown drills. Now I'm not gonna say too much about this one so YouTube doesn't. But everyone and their mama know lockdown drills are probably the stupidest thing we can do if a goon came up in the building with a blick on a mission, you feel what I'm saying? Like hiding in the classroom with the lights off ain't stopping none. Like let's be so for real, and especially most of the time the goons going into the building and spinning the block are the people who go to the school and have been in school before and know exactly how the drill goes and where we're gonna be hiding at. So basically if you think about it, this drill is setting everyone up for failure. But here's my advice: jump out a window. Like the chance of you surviving goes up by like 50%, and if you're on the second story, still jump out the window. Like breaking your legs is a better option, you feel me? And I remember one time in middle school we were doing a hole drill, which is basically you just gotta stay in your room and you can't leave. And this certain time we were doing one during passing period, and they told us beforehand not to catch us off guard. But I was walking to my second period very slowly, knowing at any second I'll have to go to the closest room. And then the speaker went off saying, "Attention, lockdown." And the closest room I was to was the theater room. So I went in there, and over the course of like 5 minutes, like 20 kids came into the room. And then the teacher all in there told us all to huddle into a big closet in the back of the room. So we did. We all piled into this huge closet full of clothes and like props and like theater stuff. And while standing in this closet with 20 other 6th and 7th grade children in the dark too. And it was only dark in the back of the closet where I was because the closet door was open because we all couldn't fit in the closet and close the door. And while standing in this closet thinking, man, if this was an actual drill and someone came in here and saw us all packed up like fish, it would become a quick XP farm, you see what I'm saying? And then kids, including me, cause that shit was funny, started playing air raid siren noises on our phones, freaking everyone out, just causing a loud combo of laughter, screaming, and air raid noises. And I could actually only imagine what the teacher was thinking while in her theater room that she just let 20 random non-theater kids into her closet that is now just spitting out these noises. Oh no. Now we can't forget the good old duck and cover nuclear attack back in like the 1950s to like 19 whenever, when the threat of a nuclear apocalypse was real, you feel me? Schools up and said, oh yeah, let's have drills for this, where, like it said in the name, duck and cover, the kids would get under the desk and cover their heads, knowing damn well if a nuke went off near a school, everyone in that radius is getting eviscerated. And apparently certain schools encourage children to wear metal identification tags, so in the event of a nuclear attack, their bodies be able to be identified, which is mind-boggling to me because I'm pretty sure if the nuke was close enough, there would be no bodies or metal identification tag. They'd be literal piles of ash or like nuclear shadows on the ground, or what's left of the ground. But I guess the whole like duck and cover school drill gave kids this false sense of hope that like getting under the desk and hiding would protect them from the nuclear blast wave that would most definitely destroy them and everything in its path. So this drill takes the cake for actually the stupidest thing ever, because hiding under your desk is not going to protect you from a nuclear blast. So thankfully I won't ever have the pleasure of writing this thing ever again. Like, the amount of brain cells I've lost while riding the school bus over my lifetime is probably dangerously high. Like, the amount doctors would want to study, you feel me? Like, the amount of times, especially last year, I pulled myself out of bed, working with around 4 to 5 hours of sleep at best, walked halfway awake to the bus stop, stood there, and whatever the Texas morning weather had prepared for me. Then I would stand at the bus stop in the rain, in the cold, in the normal hot humid weather, and standing in this would also just make me want to go back to sleep, you feel me? Like, there would be dead times where I'd actually would close my
eyes while standing there waiting for the bus, and I would just fall asleep. And I would get a rude awakening of the feeling of my body as I almost fall over. And then finally the bus would arrive. Sometimes it would arrive on time, sometimes it would be 30 minutes late, who knows. But this one time I walked into the bus, sat in my seat, and I was ready to go to bed. Like I was on autopilot mode the whole walk over to the bus stop that morning. I wasn't even awake, my body was just moving by itself. And now that my head was against the cold window and I was sitting down cozy, I slowly drifted to sleep, and for like 4 minutes I had blissful, unbothered sleep until I was awoken by yelling, like arguing, and I didn't move. I just opened my eyes and listened, and a group of kids in the very back of the bus, like the last 4 rows of seats, were dead yelling and screaming at each other at 6 in the morning. And bro, this wasn't like a one-time thing. Like most of the time when I got on that bus, a certain group of kids would make sure that I wouldn't be able to get any sleep whatsoever. Like I even put in my noise canceling AirPods with no music playing, so it would hopefully block out some of the noises and sounds that they're making from their arguing. Didn't help at all. It was like I slightly turned down the volume on their audio. I could still hear them. So I had another solution, which you guys are probably thinking about. I just put on music full blast, and it solved and caused the problem. Yes, I couldn't hear them anymore, couldn't hear none of the yelling and screaming, but now all I could hear was my music and just it blasting into my ears. And it was hard to fall asleep because all I listened to is straight heat, so over time I taught myself to fall asleep to my music even when it was blowing out my eardrums. And sometimes I wouldn't even force myself to do this. I would just be so sleepy, and beyond like holding myself in this realm, even with music blasting, I would just peacefully close my eyes and drift off. Now another thing I just didn't like about buses is sitting next to people. Like back in the day when I was a kid, I thought it was fun to sit 3 deep in a bus seat that fits like 2 people, my friends, you know? But like now I just dead can't do it. Like I want a man spread, I want to lay across my seat, I want to be backwards, you know what I'm saying? Like I need room for my backpack too, you know? My backpack's very important. I need to be right next to me, you feel what I'm saying? Like there's no room for nobody else. And now I'm not saying I'm one of those kids who would be like, hey man, can I sit here? No, get back. Like if someone asked to sit next to me, I would say sure, you feel me, but like I wouldn't enjoy it. Like there goes all my space. And like most of the time it was like only girls asking to sit next to me, bro. It's kind of weird, I don't know. And I remember one time my bus was running mad late, and then some random bus pulled up I've never seen before. We all walked up to it, and I get onto the bus to find that the bus was full of kids. Like bro, I mean 3 to a seat all the way to the back row. And I instantly knew what was going on here, because this wasn't the first time in my bus rider career that buses have merged, which is when 1 or 2 buses in this case, their bus drivers didn't show up or just didn't feel like coming to work today. So then a totally different bus will have to fill in for that bus driver and come pick up everyone else. And looking at how many people were in this bus, I assumed that this bus had picked up multiple neighborhoods worth of kids, like at least 20 stops. So I started walking down the aisle to see there was 3 to 4 people in every seat. I kept on walking and walking. I was getting near the edge of the bus. I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do now? There's not enough room. And then I got down to the very back of the bus, like the 2nd row, and I found a seat with 2 people, and I sat right on the edge, and my knees were like sticking out into the aisle, touching some girl sitting in a seat of 3 people right next to us. And I just stared forward like, bro, this was not a fun time. Like I already said, I hated sitting next to people, but now I was not only sitting in a seat of 3 people, my legs were touching some random girl sitting in a seat of 3 people, while we all sat in a bus full of 300 kids. And there ended up being like 3 more stops, and every time we stopped, everyone was like, damn, oh, because like this bus was way beyond maximum capacity, and everyone on this bus knew if any more people got on here, the bus would probably just collapse. Tires just pop and fold into each other, and the bus would just slam into the ground. But eventually we got to school like 20 minutes late, of course, and it did took like 10 solid minutes to get everyone off that bus, bro. Especially for me being the far back. I had to sit there in my seat and wait for everyone to just file out like little ants. And you know, there were some goofy funny laughs on the bus sometimes. Like I remember one time I was just chilling on the bus, right? It was a normal usual morning. I was sleepy, and I started smelling just a little hint of weed. And this wasn't like a one-time thing too. Like I would dead from time to time randomly smell it coming from the back of the bus. And I just assumed that someone was hitting the Benjamin in the back of the bus getting faded at 6 in the morning. And another thing a lot of people do on the bus is eat. And I'm one of those people. But like I always remember I had a bus driver that would always be like, don't eat on the bus, kids. And then when some kid would sit down, open up his lunchbox, pull out a bag of Doritos and start munching, and the bus driver would dead just look up in the rearview mirror, watch the kid eat, and look back at the road with no reaction. Now I feel like in some cases it's different, because imagine like little bro started making finger paintings on the window and cheesed up. Now that bus driver had to get up and come beat this kid's ass. And there were times where kids straight up littered all over the bus. Like they would finish eating their food and just throw their empty bag on the ground or leave it in their seat, and would just leave a big mess, which made it make sense why bus drivers would be like, don't eat on the bus, because of these very reasons. But I feel like most of these rules should only apply to younger kids, because they're more likely to throw their shit on the ground. And there was something I especially hated about riding the bus. Like the time frame my random bus driver would choose to come pick up would always screw me over. Like there would be times where I was 10 minutes early to the bus stop, which sucked, and then there would be times I was running to the bus stop as the bus pulled up. And there's one certain time I was walking to the bus stop, and when I got around the corner I heard the bus coming, so I started speed walking. So I speed walked across across the street to see the bus there and everyone getting on. The doors closed. And I was like, okay, I'm in bro's view now. He should be able to see me in the corner of his eyes and wait for me, right? So then I was left there, standing there in the dark at the bus stop, and I'm pretty sure everyone on the bus watched me walk up and get left there, and I was like so dumb, bro. Like, it was too early for this, so I just walked back home. Sleeping in school. 3. So there I was in algebra class, and I had this second period at the time, so it was early in the morning, and I wasn't really functional in the mornings, like first through third period. I am, for all intents and purposes, a zombie. Like, I can barely hold a conversation, and I can barely hold my eyes open and barely function. And now, I was sitting here in my desk, staring at a piece of paper covered in notes that, especially while I'm sleepy, made no sense whatsoever to me. My brain was like, Jace, wouldn't it be great if you took a small little power nap right now? Because you're in algebra class, you don't like math, this is confusing and stressful, and it's early, just close your eyes for a little bit, you know? And I was like, okay, I see what you're saying. So I made up my mind, I'm gonna just take a tiny little power nap. And I had a great way of sleeping in class, but making it look like I wasn't sleeping. So basically, I would sit in the second row of the back section of my classroom, and the girl that sat in front of me blocked most of me from my teacher's view except for my entire right side. So if my teacher saw me from that angle, it'd be obvious I was asleep. So I would hit the classic put my face in my hand on my right side, and I would lean my head a little forward, so now if she looked over, all she would see is my hair and what looked like I was looking down my paper. This technique worked every time. There was other times where I would dead just say screw the technique, and I would just lay my head down in my arms and pass out, but that was like only after we finished our notes and there was like 5 minutes of the class. But sleeping in class can be risky too, because depending on the teacher, it could be raps for you or nothing will happen. Like, I remember one time in my algebra class, we were again doing notes, and this dude that sat in the row next to me was asleep. And I noticed earlier on in the class, but I didn't pay too much attention when I was like, he's just asleep, right? It didn't really matter. And I was low-key kind of waiting for my teacher to come wake him up like she had done me 6 times before, but nope, not today. She wanted to teach the kids who wanted to be taught. So she kept going, and then after she got done with our notes, she stopped talking, sat down, and the whole class was silent, and everyone was now either on their phone waiting for the bell to ring or taking a quick power nap. I was on my phone until I heard a and it came from the kid sitting next to me, and I looked over real quick, acknowledging the fact that it was him and he is now snoring mid-sleep in the middle of class. But then I looked back at my phone, and bro started breathing like really heavily, like you could hear him breathe in and out, and like actually randomly, like out of nowhere, it caught me so off guard. He just started and while this was happening, most of us was just dead looking at him. Like, even our teacher from our desk was just looking at bro. And I was like, is someone going to step in and stop this? Or like, are we just gonna sit here and listen to bro sleep and snore till the class ends? And then like during bro's third snore rotation, our teacher finally got up and came woke him up. And like the entire time this was happening, it's reminding me how risky sleeping in class can be. Like, I don't snore a lot personally. I have before, but never at school. I don't be sleeping that good at school in the first place to be drooling and snoring all over the place. And I've personally heard enough stories of kids snoring loud as shit in the middle of class and then getting laughed at like a Disney Channel movie to know that this could actually happen to anybody. And another thing I did a lot before sleeping in class, like it was a part of my whole tactic, and this depended on what class I was in and what teacher I had, because you know, some teachers hate when kids sleep in class even if you put your head down for 2 seconds, and then some teachers could care less. So depending on what I got, I would act accordingly. So in class where I know my teachers care, I would look around the room to see how many other kids are sleeping, and if the number of kids is more than 4, I would be like, alright, bet, I'm gonna take my nap. I'm probably running like, Jace, why does that have to be more than 4? Well, I do this because it rises my chances of sleeping longer. Like most of my teachers would like quickly wake up 1 or 2 kids sleeping, but when it's 5 or more in a high amount like that, teachers usually would either slowly wake up people or not at all. And if they slowly woke up the people, that gave me more time to sleep. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm smart like that, I know. Now, a thing that's very important that I sort of said earlier is the way you're sleeping when it comes down to sleeping in class. Like, if you're a seasoned pro like me, you would have multiple main sleeping positions you would use to sleep in class without looking like you're sleeping. Now, over this last year, my dreads have gotten mad long to like a point where you can't even tell if I'm looking at you or not. So sleeping in class for me this year gonna be mad easy. But earlier in the year when my hair was shorter and you could see my face, I had to come up with unique ways to sleep in class. And the main one I used was a good old hand in the face trick, which would always work because not only does everyone normally do this in class when they're not sleeping, but also normally do this in class when they are sleeping. So it's usually my go-to. And then I got the slumped, where I just sit really low in my seat and dead look like this. And now this one can work sometimes because again, it's another thing that everyone does while awake and while sleeping, so it's valid. And my final one I use from time to time is laying my head down, but with my face out, so it looks like I'm just chilling. Now this one is risky because everyone puts their head down to go to sleep, so it's gonna look like you're sleeping unless your head isn't in your arms. And I only use this one if I'm like hella sleepy and didn't have a lot of energy to think about using my other sleeping forms for real. And nowadays I actually have like sleeping designated classes, like certain classes I was sleeping. And now I'm not saying do this, like do your work, gang, but I remember my sophomore year I had history 4th period, and after falling asleep in that class for like every day for like a whole week, I would get to that class and it'd be impossible for me to stay awake. You feel me? Like my body got so used to going to sleep at a certain time in that certain class, I just naturally got sleepy in that class. And it was just weird because the same exact thing happened last year in my 3rd period class where I slept every day, and then my body got used to falling asleep in that class, so when I get there and sit down, I'd just be mad sleepy and be out for the count. School hallways, man. School hallways are the definition of unpredictable. Like for most people, it's just a hallway you walk up and down every day to get to your classes, and for some people, it's a battleground. And you guys know what I'm talking about when a fight breaks out in the hallway and it just becomes a crowd of people recording and instigating and a form of entertainment for mad people in the hallway. Now I gotta start off by talking about one of the things I hate most about walking in hallways. Walking around corners. Like anytime I have school, I'm walking up to a corner that I gotta get around, I'm thinking, please no one just spawn in, because there's been so many times where I've just walked up to a corner to get around it and almost ran into somebody. Like one time out of the 40 times that it happened to me, I was walking up to a corner and I was on my phone looking down, you feel me? But at the same time, I was looking up at an angle where I could see in my peripheral vision a little bit in front of me so I wouldn't run into anybody. But for a split second, I couldn't see in front of me, and after running the corner, I almost slammed into this random girl. I just stopped in place and like halted, and so did she. And then we did that awkward thing where we're trying to get around somebody, but both of you end up going the same way, and it's just hella awkward. After that certain situation happened to me like 27 times, too many times to count, I would just hate walking up to corners because I knew somehow, some way, some person was gonna come flying around the corner out of absolutely nowhere. So I started when walking up to a corner, walking at it at an angle. At this certain angle, I could see anyone walking up towards the corner. So basically, I would avoid walking around the corner entirely. But I didn't do this all the time because I dad would look crazy hitting corners at an angle like it was a curve on the track. Now, another thing that I think everyone here can agree on that sucks is just the amount of people in the hallways in the first place. Like, bro, at my school, in certain areas where a lot of people gotta go through to get to their class, it gets deep in there. Like, I mean, kids going one way, kids going through those kids going the other way. It just gets crazy, especially like trying to go down the stairs of my school. Like my freshman year in high school, the freshman pod, they had like a staircase labeled down, which is the staircase you go down, and then another staircase on the other side labeled up, which is the one you go up, right? So they wouldn't have this problem, people coming up and down one set of stairs. But nowadays, it's just free for all. All staircases are used for up and down purposes, which you would think would cause problems, right? Like I would be going down a staircase with 40 other people also going down with me, and then you got little Jim trying to squeeze his way up the stairs against traffic, just squeezing his way in between people, trying to slither his way like a snake up the stairs. And then some people don't do this and just sit at the bottom of the stairs and create like a line of people also trying to go up the stairs where everyone's going down the stairs, so this causes more traffic in the hallway. So when I get down the stairs, I gotta like juke out and maneuver myself past these people just standing there waiting. And then sometimes it'd be happening the other way around. I'll be going up the stairs, you feel me, like 40 other people going up the stairs, and I'll start seeing the people in front of me part like the Red Sea and see like 2 people coming down the stairs. So I also gotta move out the way for them, which is so annoying because while I'm sidestepping to move out the way, I just slam into the person next to me. And honestly, I'm surprised so far in my entire time in high school, there wasn't like a fatal staircase incident where someone like tripped down the stairs and took like 20 people with them, like dominoes or something. Like the chances of that happening at my school and probably other schools too has gotta be high. Like there's gotta be somewhere that something like that has happened. People just falling down the stairs, causing like a catastrophic, I don't even know, bro. And now, like I said earlier, the amount of people in hallways just sucks. Like the hallway at my school that everyone walks through is called Main Street, and it's like the biggest hallway in my school that separates the building into 2 pieces sort of. And sometimes I would have my classes on one side of the school and then my next class on the other side of the school, so I have to walk across Main Street, the big hallway, to get to the other side of the school in 5 minutes because that was passing period. And most of the time, this walking distance from one side of the school to the other side of the school would take the whole 5 minutes, so I had to get there while walking through this hallway. And there would be usually this one person or multiple people who, you know, will be walking as slow as humanly possible, bro. I mean 1 step per year on, bro. And you'll know if they're walking mad slow or not because there will be a gap in front of them they made from walking so slow. And they have all the people walking normal speed, and then you got them causing a part in the hallway traffic because they're walking so goddamn slow. And now I'm not saying I haven't personally walked really slow before, just not to a point point where it made a gap in the hallway, you see what I'm saying? And when I'm behind these people that are walking this slow, it's just like I want to flat tire them and walk away like I didn't do it, you see what I'm saying? And I get it, yeah, you have every right to walk as fast or as slow as you want, but don't do it in front of me, bro. And another thing that just be wild in the hallway is the hallway runners. Like the amount of time I've seen people moving to get to their next class. And it's funny, like last year I walked around during passing period after my 5th period, and there's this one kid who would run past me and my homeboy every day. I mean, every time we were there, we just hear zooming loud ass footsteps behind us, and this dude would like slither through people to get to his class, and he would just zoom into his classroom. And like after every time he did that, everyone in the hallway would just look around at each other like, why the hell was he doing that, you feel me? I'm not gonna say I haven't ran to class before personally, because I did one time, and it basically taught me a lesson on how you shouldn't be running up and down the hallway. So basically I'd walk with this girl I used to talk to her class on the other side of the school during passing period, while my class was back on the opposite side of school. So when I'd walk her down there, I had to walk back. And one time after walking her down there, I had like 5 tardies. I was 5 tardies deep, which meant if I had gotten another one, or I got 1 hour D-haul, and it was just a whole thing that wasn't gonna work for me, gang. So I dead took off once I hit the bottom of the stairs. And I run track, so I could easily close this gap up a giant hallway while it was empty too. Nice and easy, you feel me? I was moving, I was cruising, I was in my forces too, so it's kind of hard to run, but I was cooking it, right? And then literally out of nowhere, I mean out of thin air, I didn't see them. These 2 girls walked out of a door in the side of the hallway, and you can already guess what happened. I was moving too fast, I couldn't slow down. Bam, I just slammed right into both of them, basically almost running over this one girl because she was like 4'10", and I was like, I said sorry like 20 times while running away because I was like, I know that what just happened, I felt really bad, but I had to get to class, bro. So I fled the scene of the crime. And that whole thing and situation that happened right there was like, this is why you don't run in hallways, kids, because getting end up with you running someone over. But with all the bad that comes from hallways, there's a lot of good, you feel what I'm saying? I've had a lot of good memories in hallways, a lot of good laughs, a lot of good funnies, a lot of wandering around with people, a lot of just chilling. So I appreciate school hallways at the same time. So for me personally, when I'm chilling and walking to my next class and I see a baddie, I mean like shorty fine, and I look at her like damn, and I keep it pushing, and then the next day the same location, same hallway, same time, I see her, same thing as yesterday, damn she bad. Skip to day 4 of this process, I'm like, oh yeah, she my hallway crush on bro, and I'd be like, oh yeah, she bad, but I ain't gonna talk to her or try nothing, because when it comes to my hallway crushes personally, like with me, it's just like I'm acknowledging the fact that she's bad and moving on. Like I won't ever try anything, especially when it comes down to a girl I think that is pretty or attractive or whatever. Like I will make direct eye contact with them. Like I'm gonna look her straight in her face and she look back at me. I'm gonna hold eye contact for like 2 seconds and then keep it pushing. Like I said, I'm not pursuing that. And I'm not even the type to go up to girls in the first place. Like I'd rather them approach me if they want to approach me, you see what I'm saying? But like 2 weeks ago, I was tweaking out this day. I was moving different. And I was walking back from lunch with my friend. And while I was walking, I was like on a scouting mission. Like I mean looking through the crowds of people as they walked by. And no glaze, but I saw probably one of the most attractive girls I've seen in a minute. Anyway, I saw her, I looked at her, I liked what I saw, and like I said, I like making direct eye contact with them, so I looked right at her, and then she looked right at me, and we held eye contact for like a minute, and I was thinking, damn! And then I turned back around to look away from her, and walked like 7 more footsteps, and I was like, I'm gonna hit a look back, like, I had to, come on bro, like I had to look one more time. So I turned around to see her one more time, and she was still looking at me, gang, and I was dead and not expecting that whatsoever. So when I saw her looking, I whipped my head back really quickly, because shorty had me on a trance or something, I don't know, had me feeling a little silly. And after I looked away, I had a real life quick time event. And the options were to go get her number or something, or keep it pushing. But it was dead different this time, because afterward I was like, I sold the bag. Like I don't see girls like her every day at my school. Like that was literally the first time I ever seen her before in the first place. So I was like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna hopefully see her walking back from lunch, and I would do this by taking the exact same route and walking the exact same speed and basically doing everything exactly the same, so I can have that chance encounter and just experience it one more time, you feel me, and then do what I gotta do. Now I know that sounds OD, but bro, I don't know, I was on a main mission and I was gonna complete it. So the next day during lunch, I was at this volleyball game, so I didn't end up seeing her on my route because it was completely changed. So cut to the next day, I'm walking with one of my friends back from lunch, and I'm in the hallway where I saw her 2 days ago at this point. And after a big group of people went by and I didn't see her, I was like, damn, it is what it is. And while thinking that mid-sentence, in my mind I saw her and her friend walking, and I looked at her and she looked at me, and with no hesitation I walked up to her with my phone already in my hand, because you know what it is with me, and I said, can I get your Insta? And she was like, I don't have Insta, but you got my number.
and with zero hesitation, once again, I said bet, pulled out my contacts, put her number on my phone, and she also had a cool ass name. But anyway, I got her number, I said nice meeting you, and shook her hand like a gentleman and walked away to my friend who was yelling the Rizzler in the middle of the hallway. But this is like the first and only time that I've approached a girl, so I'm like 1 for 1, but I still rather a girl come up to me. I just had to make a different decision for this certain girl, you feel me? Cause she bad, like, you know what I'm saying, she bad. But let's get to the OD stuff. Now I don't know if it's just me, but when I see a girl, right, maybe more than once in a certain hallway, see her go to her class or something, you know, and know where she's gonna be, I would sometimes, now hear me out when I say sometimes, I would sometimes change my entire walking route just to see that girl again. Now I know that's OD and it sounds crazy. I'm not the only one, bro, I promise you. Like, there's plenty of people who I know be going on side quests, walking to the opposite side of the building in the school just to see or talk to one girl. And so you can't say nothing about me slightly changing my route just to get another glance, you know what I'm saying? Like, once I have the location of my classes memorized, I can take any route to get to my class and not be late. So it's fine if I take a left instead of a right this time, and then, you know, while I'm taking that left, I just happened to run into this one girl I saw in the hallway like 35 minutes ago. You know, I look at her, she looks at me, whatever, you feel me? If it happens, it happens. It's just coincidence, obviously. I didn't like plan that out or anything. And then sometimes, me personally, I do this in the complete opposite context, like to avoid a girl, which I've already had to do this year, but that's a different story for a whole different time. Now back to one of the things I said earlier about me. When I comes to like a hallway crush, it's nothing I'm gonna pursue. It's just like a girl I might think is attractive or cute or pretty or whatever. I might look at her. Now this look is very important. I hit her with the light skin, Sin City wasn't made for you, know what I'm saying? This look is very important because say they look at you back, right? You make eye contact, you hold eye contact or whatever, they recognize your face. So the next time when you accidentally run into them, quotations on accidentally, you can hit that same look and they're gonna look at you again, you know what I'm saying? You get in her head, she start thinking about you. But this eye contact has to be perfect. Like, you can't just be like staring at somebody like a crazy person. Like, especially if you look weird, bro, it's gonna ruin the whole thing. Cause like, say some girl or whoever your hallway crush is or whatever is walking by and you're just staring at that person and you're just like dead ass just staring at them like a psychopath, that's definitely gonna put them off and it's just not gonna work out for you, know what I'm saying? One of my favorite moves that I do lots of times, especially whoever I think is like hella bad, like if she's bad, I'll hit the look back, which I'm pretty sure everyone does this. Like, you'll look at a girl as she walks by and once she's behind you, you turn around, you see what I'm saying, to look at her again. Like, I only do that on rare occasions because like you can't be giving nobody the look back. But in all seriousness, if anyone watching this got a legit hallway crush and it's someone you dead want to like pursue and get after, like shoot your shot for real. Like imagine you die tomorrow, then what? You ain't gonna be able to talk to them or holler at them because you're gonna be dead, gang. Like, you're gonna be in the ground. So you know what I'm saying, live your life, go get after your hallway crush if you genuinely want that person, because you never know what could happen. And you might be saying like, Jace, but I'm afraid of rejection or whatever. If you do end up getting rejected, just keep it pushing, just move on. Like, there's other fish in the sea, there's other people, you know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes down to a hallway crush and you probably don't even know them. Like, just keep it pushing, it doesn't even matter, bro. And me personally, I think about it like everything happens for a reason, you know? So like, if you get rejected, then that person wasn't meant to be in your life, you know what I'm saying? So you just gotta keep it pushing. Now, I don't know about you guys, but the stairwells at my school and any school are usually used for like walking up and down, right? You know, just a way to get from point A to point B in your school. And sometimes they're used for TikTok dances. And you know, you got them kids dancing in the stairwell and shit. I remember like a few years ago or some, there was a stairwell at this high school making people TikTok famous. Like, they would just record a video of themselves dancing or whatever and doing whatever in the stairwell. The video would go crazy. Now, me personally, I ain't ever like walked into one of my school stairwells and just seen two girls busting it down. But I have stumbled across some interesting TikToks of kids from my school. Like, in this back stairwell of my school, this big black dude and this little white girl dancing in the stairwell. I was just like, interesting, like, what do they got going on? But anyway, the point of this video is to point out the fact that school stairwells are used for a lot more than just walking up and down the stairs, you see what I'm saying? Like, for example, this one time I was leaving my class and instead of taking the usual route down the main stairs, I wanted to do something a little different today. You know, I wanted to live my life differently. You can't live every day the same, you see what I'm saying? So I wanted to go down this stairwell that's like down a hallway in the side of the pod in front of the bathrooms. So I walked over there after class ended and up to the door, and the doors have like these little windows in them, right? So I looked through the window while pushing open the door and I saw two figures standing right in front of the door, and my brain kind of put like 2 and 6 together very quickly. I just guessed it was some dude and a girl or whoever doing who knows what in front of the door in the stairwell, and I didn't want to like sell nobody, but I also wasn't gonna just stop opening the door. Like, I already started opening the door. Like, it'd be mad weird I just slightly open the door and then close it and walk away. So I kept opening it and I walked into the stairwell, and this dude dude and girl were standing like right in front of the door, hella close to each other, definitely on a main mission or something. And I saw them and they both just kind of glanced at me and went back talking to each other. And I kind of just awkwardly walked by them down the stairs. And while going down the stairs, my nosy ass was like, I'm gonna have to see what they're doing. Like maybe they went back to doing what they're doing when I walked away. So I looked back at them. And the way the stairwell was set up, like once you got past the first flight of stairs that went down, they turned, and then the second flight turned going down facing back towards the stairwell so I can go down that and look at them. So I looked up at them and they were dead both looking at me, like giving me some of the craziest side eye I've seen from two people at the exact same time. And I just very casually and awkwardly just exited the stairwell and kept it pushing. And the funny thing is, this isn't the first time that like something like this has happened to me. Like last year, I was returning to class from a side quest and I didn't want to go straight back to class. I wanted to do a couple more laps around. So I went to the other side of the school, and after walking into the bathroom, looking at myself in the mirror, and then walking out like an NPC, I started walking into the stairwell that led upstairs. And like right as I opened the door, I heard like this weird sound like scurrying of feet or something. And like I barely heard it because I had one of my AirPods in. So I paused my music and so slowly started going up the stairs listening. So I was like, what the hell was that noise? You feel me? Like I was confused. And as I slowly got to the top of the first little section of stairs, the door opened at the top. And the second it opened, I heard more scurrying sounds that sounded like someone was quickly moving around under the stairs. And I looked at the person who walked into the stairwell, and I swear to God, I see like a blur of a person speed walk out of the stairwell at the bottom door, like the corner of my eye. And I was just standing there at the top of the stairs like, what the hell is happening? And then the girl that walked into the stairwell was staring at me because I was botting out. And I looked at her and I was like, I think there was someone under the stairs. And she was like, okay. Probably didn't give a shit, but I had to tell somebody. And after staring at her while she slowly walked towards me while I was standing at the top of the stairs, I was still kind of botting out. I was just like trying to put together all the pieces of what was going on. I just made up my mind like, anyway, I'm moving on, whatever. Let me get back to doing what I was doing, walking around. So I started walking up the second section of the stairs, and I heard like quick footsteps at the bottom, and then the bottom door opened again, and I just kept walking. And now what I think what happened, for a quick summary of the course of events that were just happening, there was two people under the stairs, right? And when I walked into the stairwell, they stopped whatever they were doing, and after hearing the door at the top of the stairs open, they guessed I left the stairwell already, so someone fled. And then after I walked to the top of the stairs, the second person fled too. Now I don't know what was going on, what was happening, but I can only guess, you feel me? But usually when there's two people on the stairwell during class, they on a side quest or something, you know, probably like playing like rock, paper, scissors or something under the stairs. I don't know, but I doubt it, cause like I'm not gonna sit here and expose myself or expose anyone else. So let's just say I've seen some interesting things. Like I've seen a girl walk out of the stairwell wiping her mouth. Like I didn't know there was a water fountain in the stairwell. It might have been like a new addition or something, a new update no one told me about. And I'll just jump back to a couple of years ago when I was a little freshman in high school. Now I didn't know, I was innocent, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know much about life and things and people being in the stairwells and doing side quests, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know much about that. But I remember it was the morning time and I was rushing the first period because I got to school late and I had to go through one of the stairwells, right? And I was walking up to the building from one of the outside entrances. Basically, you could open this little side door and it comes into a stairwell, and I was trying to go through that door up the stairwell quickly, so I had to go through all the way around through the school, you see what I'm saying? So I opened that door and I'm walking in with my head down, my phone, and I look up in the corner, right? Like right as you open the door, there's a corner, like which is under the stairwell, there's a corner. There's that dude and a girl just standing there. The dude's got his hand on the wall in front of her, so he's standing there. She's in the corner, very corner of that whole wall under the stairwell. He's in front of her, hand on the wall, other hand, like I don't even know where his other hand was. I couldn't see it, and I just walk up staring at them. I'm like, what? Like what the hell? And the dude hasn't even reacted. He's still sitting there with his hand on the wall, talking to keying up with his girl or whatever. And I see the girl's head just slowly come through into my vision from around him, and she just goes wide-eyed to look at me, mouth open and everything, and like shouts this dude's name. I don't remember what she said, but she shouts this dude's name, and he quickly puts his arm down, turns, jumps around, basically stares at me. I'm still basically standing in the exact same spot where I was, right in front of the door, standing there, phone in my hand, staring up at them. I don't know what face I was making, but probably looking like this. And now that they were both looking at me, I came back into reality. I was like, I gotta get to class. So I just nodded at the dude and kept walking, and quickly went up around and up the stairs into class. And while I didn't even think much about it, I was like, oh, that was weird. There's two people under the stairs. It was during class, basically. It's kind of weird. And like me now, like understanding what was going on and who knows what they were doing, you see what I'm saying? They were obviously on a side quest. And nowadays, I'd be hoping for something like this to happen to me. I straight up be walking into any stairwell with anybody. I'm like, someone behind the stairs? Like, who's back there? What's going on? But I never like run back and check, because if there was some back there, I'm not trying to hold them, you know what I'm saying? Even though I don't know them, I'm not trying to sell them on their mission, you see what I'm saying? So I might like slightly walk over to the side, but I never want to fully look around, because if there was someone there, that's going to be the most awkward interaction I've had in my entire life. Like, I'm just joking around and so like, who's back here? Like, trust me, even if I'm clowning around being like, who's under the stairs, if I get the slight hints that there actually is somebody under the stairs, or no, there's people under the stairs. I'm not gonna hold you. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me.